More Thomas Newman.
And every
9 Inch Nails, Jesus Christ.
and more,
Frank Sinatra.
much more than this. I
Did
did it
my way. Finally get in there, Frank. Jeez. Cuts abrupt there, jeez. Right. Let's go again. This time, disabling the generator. And then afterwards, I will say no to the left door. Skip. Skip. Thank you. I don't want the theme tune to Pixar in the background. Can I move? Thank you. Out.
Stanley decided to go to the staff
Shut up,
lounge
Kevin.
to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying.
You're
to
not
him.
Stephen Fry, shush.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
And so I face the final curtain.
As Stanley entered the lounge, he was horrified to find not a single person there. He decided he would walk up to see his boss,
What if I
hoping
could?
that he would find an answer
Open the
there.
door. Thank you.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Entering his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the
bypass the
keypad,
whole cutscene.
Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. Stanley ventured forth into the newly opened passage. As he drew deeper into the bowels of the building, Stanley had no idea where he was or what this
Yes, he
place
does.
held. And just as he began to think he might not discover a thing, he emerged into a long room to find
Shit.
rows and rows of
My one was
monitors.
better.
Screens with a number above it. Stanley noticed,
That's my
however,
best friend.
that these were not
That's my other
random
best friend.
numbers, but the number
That's
of
the girl I hit on.
employees who worked in the building, his co-workers. Even his own number, 427, had a place on
Come on, let's
the wall.
hack it Fallout style.
But why a setup so elaborate, he asked. Was this simple surveillance or something
Yeah,
even
Stanley, you
more?
really are slow at turning.
And as if in answer to his
Ta-da.
question, the wall slid open before him, revealing the ultimate truth of the situation.
Oh, no.
An enormous control panel, Stanley discovered, but not one that controlled simple machinery. Buttons were labeled with emotions. Happy, sad. Levers and knobs controlled actions. Walking, eating, doing work, or watching TV. Every input on this device monitored not the functions of a machine, but of a human
Oh,
being.
no.
And the reality began to sink in. Stanley, like so many other people, reduced to images on a monitor, had been under someone's control, always at the mercy of this machine. Could this have been the only reason employee number 427 was content with his boring job? That a machine had altered his emotions to accept it blindly? He began to feel an unbridled rage, and at the peak of his anger, something happened. A spark. Stanley looked up and saw the generator
No, I'm not long woke
overhead,
up.
still providing some small amount of power to the machine, keeping it alive. And knowing that this generator was all that kept the controls running, Stanley moved to the ladder in the back of the room and began to climb towards the rafters.
Oh, and the fucking door opens. Thank you, random, scary door. And so I faced. I gotta stop singing Frank Sinatra. I did it my way.
The higher Stanley climbed, the closer he felt to freedom, the further from
Not
enslavement.
this time it won't be. Come on. Love the realistic colours going on. Right, let's engage it. See what happens. Yep.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls,
Yep.
did you? After it kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself? Is that what you
Yep.
wanted? Control? Stanley. Stanley. I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were meant to let it go, turn the controls off and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you have. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized that he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Oh, let's make it say, 2 minutes. Now, this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? Go ahead. Play with those controls all you like. The real controls are where I'm sitting. Did you really ever believe you held any power? Did you not think I knew what I was doing? When I erased your co-workers and turned off the machine, I was offering you freedom, an escape. I didn't have to do that. I've run this story many times, and I don't always set you free. Sometimes you just sit there, day after day after day, doing your job forever, and then dying alone. But when I actually give you the freedom to control your own actions, it's not enough. I let you go, and you trapped yourself just the same. You just weren't made to handle this sort of responsibility, I'm afraid. But you know what you were made for? Pushing buttons. You get it now? Oh, I'm enjoying this. Tell you what, I'll throw some extra time on the clock just because I'm having so much fun. There we go. You see, I want to watch you for every long second you try to puzzle this out. After all, it should make sense, right? The timer, the nuclear detonation, the mysterious facility, it's all here. This is a video game. Except for one thing there, hero. You've got no weapon, no vehicle. You don't even know where you're going. When you saw that timer, you just instinctively started trying to find an exit, didn't you?
No.
In fact, I bet you're still looking for a way out. I bet you're clicking on everything in this room, trying to open doors or vents or something and solve the puzzle. As though this game has a solution, as though it can be won. That timer is not a catalyst to keep things moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. It's the moment when the hero realizes that despite his best efforts, he is powerless to his environment. And then he lets go. He surrenders. And he dies. 30 seconds, Stanley. 50 seconds. Until a boom, and then nothing. No ending to this story, just you dying. I suppose you could have gotten an actual ending if you played along, but that just wouldn't have been your style, would it?
I did it. Jeez.
Instead, you'll perish knowing that the only choice you made here was to turn on that machine and to start this timer. But you won't be alone, because I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here to watch every second of your inevitable life from the time we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Huh? Oh, that's cheap. That's cheap. Happily ever, you little shit. Frame rate fail. Great, 13 seconds and I'm going to blow up. Whoa, what a wonderful thought. Oh, let's turn on the generator with DNA. Fucking thing. It's a handle. Since when? Why am I ranting before I'm going to die in 2 seconds? I'm dead. Goodbye. Yeah. Well, that has to be the most abrupt ending I have ever seen in my life. I mean, I actually felt scared for a second then that this British awesome non-Stephen Fry voice was talking to me and then was telling me of my impending doom, and then he just left. Cheeky twat. Right, let's try and continue at a less deathable pace, shall we? Click, skip, please. I can't take him seriously anymore. Every time I'm going to hear his voice, I'm going to remember what he did to me. Fuck off.
Stanley decided to go to the staff lounge to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance
You
from
made him.
others. So the thought of total solitude was terrifying to
You
him.
made him disappear, you pricks. Shove your solitude up your ass.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the
No,
door
no,
on his
no, no, I'm
left.
going to go right. Fuck you.
This was not the correct way to the employee
Is it not?
lounge, and Stanley knew it
Did I?
perfectly well. So he turned left at the first open door and walked back in the
Get
right
stuffed.
direction. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't
No, shut
fired
up.
years ago. Maybe this is why everyone had left. No one wanted to be around someone as bad at listening as him. And since he was walking into the middle of nowhere and thus ruining the entire story, Stanley decided that he would punish himself. So when he came to the elevator and the doors opened, he stepped inside and pushed the button to go up.
Up. Really? Right. I'm going to save it here. And then I'm going to actually see what happens if I go up. So I don't remember seeing an elevator door when I went up there. So if it sends me back to the boss's room and then continues the story from there, I'll reload and go down. Whenever it feels like doing something. Some dark ass text as usual. Do you mind? Thank you. What the fuck? Okay. What the f...
It almost perplexed Stanley that he had actually gone and stepped into this mental
beg your pardon?
trap. After all, it should have been no surprise that this thing would lead him to
What?
his death. But he thought to himself, this is simply the price to pay for ruining a perfect
Oh, not again.
story. So he resigned and willingly accepted his fate, the inevitable end toward which he had spent so long stumbling. Farewell, Stanley.
Oh, God.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator as he sent his subject down the conveyor belt and into the enormous metal
What the hell is
jaws.
going on?
In a single visceral instant, Stanley was
What?
obliterated as the machine crushed every
Oh,
bone
that's
in
nice.
his body,
Oh,
killing
Oh,
him instantly.
lovely. I love a good ending. What the fuck? Am I in limbo? What the fuck is...
It's a shame, then, that for all his work, it was such a meaningless victory for the narrator. Did he really think he would accomplish anything by murdering this disposable
Oi!
vessel?
Huh? Okay. Jess. 255, if you live near that thing, sheesh. Are they just reusing textures now? What the fuck is going on? This is Stanley's room. They've just I'm just what I'm dead, I don't care. Oh, the monitors are back now. Oh, the handle's here. Woo. Oh, it's that thing again. Get fucked.
Every possible choice Stanley could make had been designed for him long before he ever
I
set
gathered.
foot
Both
here.
of
The narrator wanted to kill him. Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start.
I didn't hit start. Hit new game. No, sorry. Scratch that. There is a start button. Exit. Woo. This isn't going to be just as great as I thought. No, it isn't, is it? Goodbye, cruel world.
There's no salvation for either of these two, I'm afraid. The narrator had as little power over Stanley as Stanley did over the paths that he walked.